Sometimes we got to get back to the basics, what works and what doesn't work. I'm all for elevation. I'm all for evolving, but some things must stay put. Some things must stay original and in place. Not saying that we don't make additions, but this progressivism that is running rapid through the United States is becoming a problem. In fact, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas had something to say about it. Let's review.
Hey, boss, he ain't working.
To destroy our nation's foundation while he was speaking at the University of Texas in Austin. Listen here.
Progressivism seeks to replace the basic premises of the Declaration of Independence, and hence our form of government. It holds that our rights and our dignities come not from God, but from government. You will not be surprised to learn that the progressives had a great deal of contempt for us, the American people.
Carrier Bond, Fox News legal editor, is with us now. You went through this whole...
Man, there was some bars that he spoke. That was some bars. And I feel like that should hold a lot of weight. It's nothing wrong with evolution. There's nothing wrong with changes. But however, the changes that we see throughout America are unfit many times for what the Constitution was created for. The freedoms and the liberties that we all share and hold. And it seems like it's devalued. It seems like it's devalued when it's good for what the progressives want. If it ain't geared towards their policies, their beliefs, then it's wrong. And if you want to make an argument that things should be changed, then let's change them at a political standpoint, such as an amendment in the Constitution, right? Or it going across the Senate floor, right? But that's not always the case. And I think that we got to get back to some normal in the middle things. I think progressives, I think liberals, these Democrats got to get back to somewhere in the middle. All this irate, excessive, over the top rhetoric, along with policies that don't make sense, that keep us hindered as Americans, that keep our cities, our states at a deficit, is a problem. But I digress. Let's keep it going.
Speech a couple of times. He thought it was very impressive.
Oh, it's the most compelling speech I think I've ever seen or read on the Declaration of Independence. Clarence Thomas is a national treasure. He really is. And the speech reflects that. And he really focused on the beauty of the Declaration, especially in its opening. You know, the iconic phrase we all know so well: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and are endowed by our Creator with unalienable rights. And he addressed head on the complaint and criticism that many have about the Declaration. Well, how could they write this when so many of these signers were slaveholders and owners? And he went on to talk about how, because rights are given by God, and he believes that, and God has created men equal, that is why we changed course.
And once you hear that, you have to applaud it. He couldn't, no one could have said it better than what was said. America changed course. We not finna sit here and act as if, because that's a lot of people's go-to. Well, what about slavery? What society, what culture, what country in this world or people have not been enslaved in some type of capacity? All right, now that we've grown past that, what now? As a black man, I know that I am recognized now as an equal person, and that I can, if I choose to, become president of the United States, or I can become whoever, whatever I want to do here. And you still, and to this day, you still can't say that it for many countries, for many people that come from different countries. And so I think that we have to give our founders, we have to give our country a little more credit than what is given. Is it perfect? No country is. Are we perfect? No one is. But the bottom line, I think we're a little close to what God intended. To a degree, right? So people can miss me with all of that, and I think what was said was spot on.
In the courts, many Americans now see the loss of confidence as a hill the government must climb to restore credibility. Why do you think public trust has eroded? Which concerns do you think are legitimate? And how do you suggest that we as a people could rebuild confidence in government, including the judiciary?
Oh, I think by learning more about it, by understanding it, and by not being controlled by people who have an interest in constantly pounding away because they don't agree or they want something else. It's like they're throwing temper tantrums. I think that unless people, and I meant what I said, I do not, it took the speech even, it takes a lot of work for me because I want to say what I actually think. And I think if we don't stand up and take ownership of our country and take responsible for it, we are slowly letting others control how we think and what we think.
Yeah, and I believe that he is spot on about that. It's mighty funny that people can praise their countries, praise where they're from, and praise what they believe in, and they don't get a slap. They get praises, they get applauded. But time you say you a Christian, or you love God, or you have pride in being an American, it turns like it's an insult, like they disgusted. And I don't understand that. I will never understand that. So when I see, especially when I see Americans having the same vitriol, like, you live in the best country in the world. People will die to come here still to this day in 2026. Are you foolish? Are you dumb? Come on. Let's keep it going.
Progressivism was the first mainstream American political movement, with the possible exception of the pro-slavery reactionaries on the eve of the Civil War, to openly oppose the principles of the Declaration. Progressives strove to undo the Declaration's commitment to equality and natural rights, both of which they denied were self-evident.
That's a powerful statement, Carrie.
It is. And he went on to talk about how progressives were also responsible for the terrible Supreme Court decision, Buck v. Bell, and just the thinking at the time that certain people should not be legally allowed to have children if they were deemed not capable enough for various reasons by the state. But, you know, one thing I also really appreciated about the speech, and I think, again, he epitomizes this, he lives by what he preaches, is he talked about the lack of courage that we have generally lacking in our society. And he says it's the devotion of the people who signed this declaration, who have fought these wars, who have done everything, that have done all of these things so that we can live the lives that we have now. It was because of devotion. And he is very concerned that today we lack that devotion, and he's concerned about the future of the country if people do not start behaving courageously, even in their everyday life.
And I believe ultimately we got to continue to fight for our country, continue to fight for our rights. I think what people are doing more, which he spoke on, is the whining. If you don't get your way, you're going to cry about it. You're going to make a big huff about it, right? Instead of finding new solutions, instead of digging your teeth into what our Declaration stands for, what our Constitution stands for, what our American principles are, right? People get so warped, so like have some type of tunnel vision and want a pity party, when this is the greatest country in the world, and we should fall back on what our Constitution holds, what our Declaration of Independence holds. We should not be faltering to a certain agenda. The agenda should always be primarily America and its people. But I digress. And so when you look at it in that totality, you have to continue to ask yourself, where's your patriotism? Why are people not patriotic? Why are people condemning the military? People that have fought and died for us, blood, sweat, and tears. You have to ask yourself, why are we just allowing any and everybody come in with their beliefs and not being appropriately integrated into American society? Why are we just giving people a slap on the wrist? Why is our front door open without people having to qualify? It's a lot of questions that need to be asked, and I think that it starts with the individual, and after the individual, it starts with building that ecosystem within your household, leaning on God, leaning on having pride for your country. And I think Clarence Thomas said it perfectly. I think it was brilliant. It was ethical. He delivered a great message, and it should be acknowledged. But sippers, sippers, y'all tell me how y'all feel about it in the comments. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It's your boy Mercy. I'm out.